All right, let's check in with Jean-François Lise, former PQ leader, on our feature brought to you by Guaranteed Industries. Taking care of Montrealers' needs, summer, winter, keep you cool, keep you warm, doesn't matter the season. They are the folks you want to call. Guaranteed Industries, they are a Lennox Premier dealer, 514-342-3400 or online, guaranteedindustries.com. So, Jean-François, let's begin with the story that we've talked about here a while, the story, press conference last week, the CAQ government announcing that they have this action plan, which includes, I think, 21 separate points, $600 million over 5 years, again, to promote and protect French. So just off the top, your initial reaction to what you did here.
Well, it's all, as you say in France, ce n'est que du bon pain. It's only good bread. Those are all positive measures. There's no coercion in that. It's all incentive. The bulk of the money goes to French classes, to anyone in Quebec who wants these classes. Since the CAQ came in, they have quadrupled the budget, but the demand for French classes overtakes the ability to take them in, which is a good sign as such. So they're doing this. They're looking at ways to buttress the quality of French within the French school system. And also they're looking at how to make sure that Netflix and Spotify offers to the Francophone clients Francophone and Quebec content when they get on the page, which is already the case in some European countries for their own culture, and which would simply increase the market value of these companies in Quebec, because, of course, if you cater to your clients' needs, you're going to have more response. So we're far off. I thought that on this discoverability issue, that also is important for Canadian content elsewhere in Canada, but it's for them to move on that if they so wish. The Quebec government got a very serious report about 4 months ago telling them how to proceed, but the minister said that the bill would only be tabled within a year, which I thought was pretty slow moving, given the importance of the issue.
Okay, I lost you there at the end. What bill being tabled?
Well, they're going to have a bill to make sure that, let's say, Netflix or Spotify are directed to show on their French homepage in Quebec French content, and then you can opt out as much as you like. But that would be the obligation. Bills like that are on the books in Europe, but the minister said that it's going to take a full year before he tables the bill, which I thought was pretty slow.
Okay, so here's what I don't... First of all, I will tell you that Pascal Berube, who's the PQ language critic, when he was asked, he said that this announcement, the one we were referring to, is not a plan and not one that can slow or reverse the decline of French. He called it a public relations exercise.
Well, I disagree with my friend Pascal. I think, listen, some of the measures that the PQ and that I want were not in the plan. Doesn't mean that the plan is no good. I think there are... I cannot take issue with any of these elements. I think to reverse the decline of French, you have to press every lever. The lever that is not there is how do you make sure that temporary workers that are under the purview of Quebec are less numerous or more French. Now, there was nothing about this in the plan. They told us that the minister would come with some news about that in the next few weeks. So let's wait for this news. But obviously, that's a demographic measure that has a lot of weight in the overall picture, more than some of these measures. But hey, we cannot fault the CAQ, from my point of view.
We can't?
Of being very active on the French element. Yeah.
Okay, when you say we can't fault them for being very active, what do you mean by that exactly?
I mean we can't fault them for not doing a lot.
Oh, I see.
They are doing a lot.
Yes, they certainly are. I would ask and I didn't understand this. You just explained it. I think I would ask, though, on this idea about getting Netflix and Disney or whoever else, whatever streaming services, to increase French. The government said it's going to spend $187 million in this plan to do just that. Why do you have to spend any money to get to do that, Judd, as opposed to just going back to Netflix and saying, look, if you're going to be in Quebec, we'd really appreciate it if you make, an effort to have French on that screen, and then listeners or viewers can either opt in or opt out. Where's the money to be spent here?
Well, there are two things. The money is to help create more content in French.
Okay, I didn't say that, though.
Well, that's
Okay.
what I understood.
Okay.
I listened to the press conference and I read the plan. So that's what I understand. More French content being generated. That's one thing. The other thing is, as you know, every cable distributor in Canada has to pay a percentage of their revenue towards a fund that funds Canadian cultural content. But Netflix and Disney and Prime Video, they don't. Although they are an important vector of content. So there should have been, in the federal legislation, something to correct that. They haven't done that. They've been very, very flat-footed in this whole enterprise. But I think Quebec, because this is not cable, this is not telecommunications as we usually understand it, and that's on the web, jurists of Quebec say, well, Quebec could intervene in that field, supplementing the federal intervention, and the Supreme Court sometimes allows that. So that's where they see their legal window. So they could say, listen, Netflix, you're doing hundreds of millions of dollars revenue in Quebec every year. Now, that's an important market. Not the most important, but it's not negligible. We want you to do two things. First, to reinvest part of your revenue into Quebec content. And second, to make sure that the homepage shows Francophone content. That doesn't cost anything, the homepage. We'll see what they say. But if you're not asking them, and Quebec was the first jurisdiction in North America to force Netflix to pay taxes, the TVQ. And Netflix reaction was almost, we were wondering when you would ask us that, because they immediately paid it.
I mean, that in itself is good. It's got nothing to do with language. Obviously, they're operating here making money. They should be paying tax. I think most people would agree with that. So good on Quebec for doing that. I would ask you one more thing, and then I'll let this go. This plan includes money to boost teachers. You mentioned this off the top, Jean-François, from 500 to 750, to which a few texters have written, wait a sec. Where are we finding these teachers? There's a shortage already here of teachers. Where are they coming from?
That's a very good question. But I suppose that, these are teachers that are not necessarily full-time, so a lot of retirees can come in and do these jobs, but they have already boosted the number of teachers that they have in these French classes. So obviously I have the same question that you had. Let me give you back to this, give you an example on discoverability. One of my streaming services is Crave. As you know, Crave is owned by Bell Media, for which we're working right now.
Full disclosure, yeah.
And recently, a couple of months ago, on the homepage, at least on my homepage, there's an item, there's a small window that says French Originals. And you click on French Originals, and then you get to a page where there's Quebec and French content. And I thought, the Bell Canada's home, their quartier général, their siège social,
head
is
office.
in Montreal.
Yeah, their head office.
But their head office. But there's no one who had enough sense, given that this item was for Francophone viewers, to translate French originals into contenu en français. Just it shows how little energy is put into trying to maximize my presence on their streaming platform in making French content more easily available.
Yeah, I mean, I as you describe it, I don't think that was intentional. I think that was just an oversight. Obviously, if you're going to have a French page with French, content, you want to say it in French. So
it's always an oversight.
Mais non, Jean, c'est pas tout le temps. Just sometimes it's really just a mistake. By the way, quick, we have like a minute here. What do you think? So you found out the largest French teachers union is now going to take Bill 21 or challenge it, I guess, to the Supreme Court.
It's a continuation. They've been part of the group doing this in the first instance. They were in the Superior Court as well, so they're just continuing. But there's going to be a lot of backlash because the mandate that they have to do that does not come from the members, but from an upper body of delegates that decided that between them. It never got back to the members.
Rank and file.
And a lot of members disagree with that. And now, what we see on social media is that, wait a minute, you didn't have money for a strike fund, but you have money for that?
Okay. I'm not sure who they're asking for that money, and obviously it will take a lot of money. We'll follow up on this. I'm out of time. Jean-François, merci. Thank you.
Merci.